The next exercise in our session 4 of the macroeconomic exercise is a contractionary monetary policy in the ISLM model again. And the question says graphically analyze contractionary monetary policy in the ISLM model. So for that, we would draw our ISLM curve as usual. Put the labels on the curve, and then we would see the impact of a contractionary monetary policy reflected on the curve. I would draw LM curve with red colored pen so that we would see the actual impact. In this case, we are having an initial income level of YA for our equilibrium point A and an initial interest rate of IA. And we are saying there is a contractionary monetary policy, so our LM should shift to the left-hand side to have a new curve of LM1, and this shift is actually motivated by a decrease in money supply, which shifted the LM inwards. And here we would have again a new equilibrium point B. For that, we would have an income which amounts to YB and an interest rate which amounts to IB. So this is again the graphical analysis of a contractionary monetary policy. Next item in this exercise is to explain the dynamics of the model by using scheme of arrows. For that, we would still have our graph staying there, and we would start our analysis by saying that money supply decreased as part of a contractionary monetary policy. So this is on the money market, which leads to money demand is greater than money supply when money supply decreases. So this can also be translated into, if there is a high demand for money, the economic agents would tend to sell their bonds that they have on their hand so that they can satisfy their high demand for money. So they want to sell their bonds so that they can satisfy this high demand for money. This is again to say the supply of bonds would increase in this regard. If supply of bonds is increasing, this is again to say supply of bond is greater than the demand for bond. In economics, supply is high indicates that the price of that particular product would be low. So the price of the bond would fall down or decrease. And we have already said that there is an inverse relationship between price of bond and interest rate. So the interest rate would, in this case, increase. This is again to say the opportunity cost of holding money would increase, which would lead to a decreasing money demand. This impact can also be reflected on the goods market, where we look at spillover to the goods market, and we can see that when interest rate is increasing, our IS component, which says minus B2 multiplied by I, where I is increasing, would have a decrease in overall impact, which indicates that the aggregate demand would decrease, and which again indicates that the aggregate supply is greater than the aggregate demand. This would again translate to saying that our income would decrease. If our income decreased, our consumption as a positive function of income would decrease. So the aggregate impact, again coming back to the income level, which would give us a reduction of income Y. Again, with the reduction of income, spill over to the money market would indicate that if income is low, our aggregate demand would be low. That is to say, aggregate demand incorporates money demand within it, so money demand would also be low.